All right. This gonna work? Okay. Pretty random, although it's been a little while since I've updated, so I'm kind of just gonna throw a lot out there all at once, and then we'll let you guys kind of just unpack it yourself. I don't think I'll be doing too much bashing. I don't want to, but it's still on my mind in the fact when it comes to me living my I guess you could say like this my so-called path, right? When we get into the talks of Christian following or your calling, right? Jesus's or God's calling of my life, or what I'm supposed to do in this world. Mine's just a little bit darker. You know, I've come from dark places, so it's only befitting that I bring a little bit of the dark, let's just say, attitude or personality, character traits to my testimony, right? To my preaching, right? I'm not opposed to a little bit of the cold shoulder. I think some people need a little bit of a hard nudge, and being as it lacks in today's industry, that strong, grounded. I don't want to say strong either, because I know we have strength, and I know there's different versions of strength, and some versions of strength can be being soft, right? You can be strong by being tender, right? Our language nowadays is just so messed up that the way I say it just may come off, I know, as completely arrogant, irresponsible, not very grounded at all. So, hey, if you don't like it, please be my guest. You don't have to watch these videos. I've actually just picked up on a couple different channels recently. I got to give it to YouTube. I've got to give it to the what do you call it? The formula, right? The numbers of how what you look at. You know, some people don't like the marketing aspect. So if you like if you click on something that you like and you start getting ads for it, I'm actually okay with that, because if I click on it, it's probably because I like it. And if I like it, I'm okay with the ads. I'm okay with figuring out what to actually put money into. I'm all for education. Products to me are more or less come in the form of either time spent in entertainment, not necessarily physical products like exercising equipment. I don't see much exercising equipment as far as training. I see actual training programs, right? So I actually like that sort of feed. But on the other side, I have, I should be moving. I told myself I would be moving the second I started this, and I know I get distracted. But the other half of that is people, right? I see a lot of channels, YouTube channels, and more or less YouTube, because I'm kind of big on just educating myself on through YouTube, because it's so easy. I'll go elsewhere at times, but I won't lie to you and say that a lot of the information, so to speak, you know, of course I'm going to say it's reputable, you know, but that's neither here nor there. I like taking in a lot of information from everywhere. Books are just not my strong point. If I read, it takes me a long time, and it's still hard to break it down. Like, I'm trying to get into the Bible as much as I can. I know that's a big place to start, but you ever notice, I don't even know how it happened. Yeah, you can tell. Look how bent this thing is. It may have been from deadlifting or something. I think it was. Like, I used to have to load up this bar with weights because I never had a bar. I got one now, but this was my barbell. So I have a couple new pages that I wanted to bring to the table and discuss with you. So to say the dark side of things, I have two new pages. One of them does not matter. It's just in relationship to hearing aspects of life that are things that I don't agree with. To get more distracted, an example would be I recently, the week after I got baptized. So if you follow my videos, you'll notice maybe 3-4 weeks ago I was baptized, and the next week, due to fear and intrigue, I decided. Hold on, I forgot which way I'm supposed to go here. I think it's that way. I decided to visit a Mormon church, right? A Latter-day Saints church. And I never have before. I have no idea what the religion's about. I have no idea what they believe in. I know it's not necessarily, it's one of those religions that formulate their own set of beliefs and go so far as to creating their own book, right? I actually have it around here somewhere. I took a copy of the Book of Mormon, I believe is specifically what it's called. And it's a complete different, I don't want to say different or anything. It's a complete different representation, right, of the Bible. I'm not going to sit here and preach about what Mormonism is. I'm not going to talk about any of their beliefs. I have no clue. I try and describe it in the sense of the definitions. I think I've said this before in a different video. Is interpretations versus translations. Right? The Bible, Holy Bible, has been translated over time. So your modern English, your Americans, your English-speaking people can understand the written language of the Holy Bible that was originally written in Hebrew or originally written in a different language. I'm still learning, folks. But essentially, that's translating the Bible so that we can understand it in our own modern English. Right, you also have, your King James version. It's still English, but I mean, thouest, shalt, right? Thouest, shalt, beeth is not necessarily the way we speak anymore, right? But beeth is to be, right? It's not that hard to translate. I know there's much more to the translation than there is. This is why we have so many different religions nowadays, because there's so many different translations. Interpretations. It's a little bit different. Interpreting the Bible, to me, is something like, now I know, these are horrendous examples, but I'm trying to make a point here. Interpreting the Bible, to me, is a much different concept where you take the Bible and sometimes, somewhere along the way, another person, some sort of what they would be considered, I don't want to say like apostle or let's say rabbi at times even. Someone who is deemed to have, Muhammad, right? Someone who's deemed to have some higher form of wisdom, power, calling from God, Holy Spirit, whatever the religion is itself. They interpret the Bible one way, or they interpret a completely different religion, right? So the Jewish faith literally don't believe. These are the people that are called by God, by Jesus, the Jews. These are the people that are called to be the chosen ones. They don't believe that Jesus is the Messiah. I don't want to deem everybody for that, right? Because that's literally being racist right there, right? So I'm not condemning anybody. And I certainly don't want to say all Jews. But the essence of the faith, I suppose to speak, is that Jesus wasn't necessarily the Messiah. I mean, he never rose from the dead, right? And so on and so forth. So that's an interpretation that, to me, does not fit what the translation of the Bible would actually say. My version of the translation. Now, To disagree, wait, where are we going with this? Yeah, that was a long one. Yeah, that was just the example of how to differentiate between who we're talking about. So I don't necessarily believe in the Jewish faith. I have my own translation of the Bible, and other Bibles. I'm not really proving this point at all. I have nothing to do with this. However, what I will say is that I am interested and I'm intrigued by other religions. I don't know if it's my historical bad, negative, satanic experiences that just have developed over time to make me intrigued by negative, or I don't want to say negative, by what some Christians would deem as not necessarily true, forms of life, right? I'm very intrigued by learning other forms of religions that the modern Christian might not necessarily, and I'm saying, I don't even want to say the common modern Christian, because we're still, I guess we could though. Like the common modern Christian has a few basic principles of understanding as far as the Bible goes, right? Jesus is God. Jesus is the Son of God. Jesus died on the cross for our sins. The only way to get to God, the only way to get to heaven is by repenting, believing in Jesus, believing that he rose from the dead for your sins, and that anything that you do needs to be forgiven by your personal, let's say, repentance, your own, not I want to say your own forgiveness, right? You repent, God forgives, and he wipes the slate clean. This doesn't give us freedom to sin and do whatever we want. But one way to heaven, Jesus Christ. Jesus rose from the dead for you. Plain and simple. It's a very basic, modern day concept. I'm intrigued by learning other interpretations. Not so that I am, and I am heavily naive. I'm very naive, folks. Don't get me wrong. I will believe a lot of things. The difference is when I take on a new belief, I don't hold myself to it, right? Even in my darkest of days, it was so difficult for me to actually throw away the belief that God just doesn't exist. Even in my worst of days, I have never been able to think that God just doesn't exist. I don't think I'll be able to do this with this pipe. There's another one where I go this way, right? But it's just long. I could do it if this thing is like this long. I do have another pipe, but this one's heavy. I suppose we could try it. We just gotta be slow. Yeah, we gotta really move. So anyway, I'm intrigued by other religions so that I can learn what to defend against in the dark times. All right, so when people come at me with certain beliefs and they give me these ideas, these concoctions, these interpretations of what they think is right or wrong via, faith-based questions and answers, truths that necessarily can't be proven through anything outside the Bible. I'm intrigued and I want to be able to defend against that. So most of the time I'm always leaving the conversation, I've said this before, I'm always leaving the conversation questioning. I'm usually not the one leaving saying, this is the answer. Sometimes, but that's usually with the atheist, right? That's usually with the atheist, because the atheist is just, it's so hard, or it's so easy to be like, listen, come on, you cannot possibly think. It just isn't there, folks. Never mind, that's another sad one. Who is it? Peter Holmes. Peter Holmes, the atheist versus God joke. Believing in nothing. So if your nothingness decides to spontaneously burst, that's a pretty gosh dang powerful burst of nothing, right? I don't know. It's a good one. Anyway, there it is. So I like being able to defend myself against, there it is, against other religions. Is there any more to that? Ooh, there's the finger. Ooh, sprained my finger, by the way, playing volleyball. So, yeah, well, that sucks. Is this, I wanted this a little bit lower. It's probably gonna fall, because, you know, I have no tripod. I do have a microphone, though. And yes, to say it as really early on in the video as I can, you know, 15 minutes in. Stay tuned. I'm going to bring you guys to the gym. I'm going to be working later today. I have been recently working a little bit later as the weather and temperatures just fluctuating here in Ohio, as is around the world. But yeah, work right now is like afternoon to evening, so I'm getting at the gym by like 9, and it's pretty dead. So I might bring you guys there and show you guys our new training program, which is what we're going to get into soon. Just not right now. One more thing. So much, guys. So much. So much. So beyond the religious aspect of going out and learning and studying other religions, this is what you do in college, folks, by the way. Right? Someone who's going into the religious studies of, I don't know, theism, or I don't know. I think that's like the only one I know, right? Where they're studying all forms of, that's not even studying the religions. That's like theism is like, I won't even look it up. Like Google theism. It's like understanding what understanding is, right? Figuring out what questions are, right? It's like, I can't think of a good definition for it, but it's like questioning questions. It's one of those. It's one of those off the wall ones. I think it's just a little bit out there, but of course, if you dive into it, it's really cool. I just think that sort of mind frame, you might want to make sure that you're going to the gym, right? If you're going to question, if you're going to go into the aspects of theism, you might want to make sure that you're exceptionally grounded in your body, and that you're actively training. In my mind, what that means is you do not want to get too lost up in the head. You can question everything, and you can question questions, and then you can be like, what is the meaning of life, right? It's so if you question too much, it's just going to hurt your head in the end, right? It's just going to be over stressful. So yeah, make sure you're training so you don't go too nuts. Anyway, to get back on topic, the reason why I'm going into this, there's a new guy I do not suggest you watch or follow or even check him out. This is not reverse psychology, folks. This is not me saying, oh, I think you should go check him. No. If you think I'm bad, if you think I'm, if things that I say are off the wall, if you think things that I say are just rude, dumb, wrong, arrogant, selfish, any of this, do not. And I know this is you're going to, because that's today's standard. Today's standard is go into the things that people tell you not to do. Fine, check it out. You will be very upset that you did. By looking into a new gentleman that just randomly popped up. He had interviews with only two people that I know of are Andrew Huberman and Joe Rogan. Both podcasts I cannot find. Pretty sure it's because they weren't posted. They were banned, they were removed. I don't know how this guy exists. I don't know how he's still alive. I don't know how people haven't. I probably shouldn't be saying any of this either. What's going to happen though? I mean, yeah, I have seen the worst of the worst. But essentially, I could go into this a lot. But I also need to be careful what I say, because sometimes videos can get the best of people. And his videos are making me realize that what I say in my videos, I need to be very careful. I need to be extra careful. Doesn't matter if I'm joking. It doesn't matter if I'm truthful. I need to be very careful. Extra because I've developed a relationship with a piece of plastic, by the way, folks. Don't get me wrong. If you haven't seen any of my previous videos, know that I have an improper relationship with this. All right, I don't feel like I'm actually talking to human beings. All right, I've had so many videos in my life and no following, right? I don't have an audience, or at least I haven't had an audience. 72 subscribers is not an audience, right? But that's what I have. I've never had a video of 100 views or more, right? It's not like that. However, to me it's sad because I don't want like the people that I love and know to really see this aspect of me. But the only people that I know watch are like people that I don't love, right? Like I know some of my family members watch my videos and I've heard some of my friends watch my videos. And it's like, guys, you're missing the point. You're really missing the point, guys. Please, if you like me if you like me in person, stick to the in-person version of me, right? Just do that. You'll get way better character traits, all right? I'm not even that kind in person at times. Like I'll try and be hard, but I know I need friends, right? I know I need groups and people. I'm actually considering getting into relationships, a real relationship with somebody. Yeah, I thought of it today. Like I'm thinking I really could use a relationship. Just thinking of my skill sets, right? Things that I love to do. Like I love keeping my place orderly and clean. I love doing housework. I love taking care of my own yard and my land. I love cooking. I love cleaning. I love doing the modern day housewife style living. I do. It is what it is. I have skills, right? I could garden. Still an at-home skill. But I need change. I need change in that, because I know change doesn't always sound good to everybody. I need to keep moving in different directions. I need a lot of different tasks, right? You know, people call this like ADD or ADHD. I don't identify with that sort of crap. I just need to do a lot of different things, right? I don't have a specific skill, right? A master of, come on. Can't think of it. You'll fall on that. A master of none is better than, no. You all know the quote, right? Master of one quote versus, I forgot what the opposite of master is, right? I want to be a master, but it's just not me, right? I would rather have lots of different skill sets. I'd rather be a DIY, do-it-yourself sort of person. But I'm not a mechanic. I don't like carpentry. I can't just fix things. You know, I'm not that inclined, right? And not that that's like a manly thing, but there are other skills that take a bit of precision, right? Mechanics and carpentry, you can't really build stuff just like not knowing. The best skill that I have is exercise. And that's not much of a skill, quite honestly. I don't consider that a skill. Even cooking. Cooking can be a skill, but my version of cooking isn't skill. Like I'm not a chef, right? I would never classify myself as a chef. I just like to cook. I like to cook and I like to be healthy to a very excessive degree. I gotta go this way, actually. So I like being able to do a lot of things so I can take care of myself. All right? I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm not a strength coach. I'm not a calisthenics guy. I do it all. If you've seen my yearly training program, I don't miss anything, right? I don't miss out on doing anything. I want to do everything. I'm hitting my shirt every time I do this. I should be moving more. My left arm is not as good. So anyway, I'm questioning relationships. I want to get in a relationship. Let this be an official out here, folks. No offense. I'm sorry if you are family and you don't agree with this, but I'm absolutely looking for a man, for a relationship. I suppose I am being sexist on that. It doesn't have to be a man, because that technically would be for sexual pleasure, which I don't want to seek. I really don't want to seek out anything for sexual pleasure. I'm doing away with that, or I've done away with that. But I don't want to be distracted by that sort of thing. However, my brain tells me that the aspects of the areas that I lack in only come from a man, right? And that's obviously wrong. There could be a woman out there that could fulfill, and I have no doubt that I can marry a woman and have a child with someone that is equally balancing me out. No doubt. I just don't think I guess it's just a bad mental attitude. I don't think it's very soon, right? I always thought that it was going to come at like at age 60, when I'm so grounded that just this perfect woman comes into my life. I don't even need her. It's just it's just one of those trust fall things. Not even trust fall. That doesn't make any sense. Where I don't need anybody, but it just happens to be just so perfect, right? I could really use somebody right now, and a good, strong, I don't know. I just love it's just my time right now, right? Time in my life, past 3 years. I just like the groundedness of a man. Plain and simple. I would love to see a woman fulfill the role of that which I seek. Good luck. It's a big role to fill. I was gonna say something. Never mind. Oh man, it was sexual innuendo. Probably shouldn't go there. Anyway, relationships. I haven't even mentioned his name yet, have I? Nope. So, I don't even know if I should mention his name. I don't think I will. I'm not going to mention his name. I'm sorry, folks. I just won't. I don't want to give credit. I don't want to give anything to this person. Don't get me wrong. I'm following him. I'm following his podcast. He does have a podcast on Spotify. But it's funny. He has an interpretation on following. And he did this in Andrew Huberman's podcast. He's like, when I follow you, it's not out of support. Right? I'm not following you because I support you. Following you because I'm watching you like a hawk. This is what he says. At least Gray. I'm not word for word. Following you because I watch you like a hawk. I'm studying your every move. I'm watching what you do, how you act, how you are. And I'm making sure that everything you do, I know what you're doing so that I can be prepared to when I see you, whatever that is, right? He's very, I'm going to use the word because I don't know what it is. Pompous, right? Almost arrogant. If I don't say his name, it's okay, right? I'm not going to use his name. Arrogant, cocky. The thing is, I haven't watched him enough to really know if what he says is actually true. But he's the hard shoulder. He's the hard, cold shoulder. What do you call this? Narcissist, right? Complete narcissist. Absolutely. He has kids, hates his kids. He wants the worst for them just because the belief is the harder your life is, the stronger you become, right? The more difficult your life is. It's almost like a Spartan warrior mindset. It kind of is a Spartan warrior mindset, which he would be very proud of. However, that's pre-Jesus, right? That's Old Testament. Not even Old Testament. That's like non-biblical. It really is non-biblical. He's mentioned murder. He's mentioned stealing. He's mentioned I'm just trying to go through a list of like our commandments here. Adultery, like absolutely. So just one of the worst characters I could ever actually put time into, right? One of the, by far, probably one of the worst characters I could be putting time into. And I'm not going too far yet. Really, all you need are some short snippets, right? Those quick little snippets, right? 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, to realize that it's absolutely not worth. But I'm just so intrigued. There are few beliefs, there are few thoughts that resonate, right? When it comes to tough love or I don't want to say raising a child, but giving someone that hard shoulder so that they can pick themselves up by their bootstraps instead of you having to pick them up for them. I don't know how if I've mentioned this before, but when I went through my recent depression in the winter, which I made videos about, folks, I've made plenty. The one that caught on was I remade the title because I think it was a bad title name, and it got people to watch it, and I had the wrong people watch it. I had family members watch it. Friends tell me, "Are you okay?" So I changed the title, but it was a video where I knew I was getting to a very dark, lonely, dreary place. Solely because I probably just wasn't exercising, right? When I don't move, it takes 3 days, folks. 3 days of non-moving, and I'm up here. My mentality shifts, my energy shifts, my anger starts to arise. My anger starts to arise nearly every day. Don't get me wrong. But I will project it onto others without a care in the world. And of course, that's just not helpful. So there was a time back in November, after I lost my last job, where I was just not in the right place. And I had people trying to support, right? I had people making sure that, I don't want to say making sure, I had people trying to provide the soft, gentle, caring, kind, loving, and quite frankly, not only did I not take necessarily advice. So some of the advice that I wasn't for was therapy, right? I'm just not going to seek therapy. It's just not me. I'm not going to come to you and tell you I have a problem. All right, I am fully capable of dealing with my own problems. That's what independence is. Hyper-independence is most certainly a thing. I'm not going to go into that right now. But I want to be able to take care of myself no matter how dark my life gets. I Am Legend, Will Smith. There are movies that, I don't want to say that life is a movie, but if you're the main character, you're a movie, and apocalypse comes and you're all that's left, are you going to be able to take care of yourself or what? Right? I would like to think so. What do I want to say? I want to say, thankfully, because we have humans, there are two different aspects of support. One of them being that soft, tender, gentle, kind, loving, caring, supportive style care, or come on, man, let's just go to the gym. Let's just fuck how you feel, right? I'd actually prefer the friend, and I've had these before, and I've argued against this, right? I've had those arguments where someone would try and give me the cold shoulder, like, bro, forget what you're thinking about right now. Let's just go have fun. Let's just go play a game. Let's just go exercise. And it's like, no, I don't want to do that, man. I just want to fucking sit here in my own little poo-poo energy and just bitch and complain. Victimized mentality, perhaps. But no, when you have the right friend who gets you to actually do it, whether they pull you themselves or they get you to decide to do it yourself. I honestly prefer the cold shoulder first because I have to get the energy out via what is our term, or what is our sentence? You cannot solve a problem at the same level at which it's created. So if you're thinking to the point where, if you're thinking about trying to fix a problem and you get confused, depression is a lack of expression. So how do you express? Some people say, well, you can express this way. Depression is in the body. You depress the body. You don't move the body. You're going in. What's the opposite of that? Anxiety. Anxiety, some people think it's all up in here. Well, that's funny because when I get anxious, I start twitching, I start fidgeting, I start breathing a lot, hyperventilating. Where do you breathe at again? Don't you dare just say your mouth. All of this happens in the body, right? But it's because all of our thoughts get so confusing because you're not moving that you just can't think your way out of it, right? You can't think your way out of an anxious moment, all right? You're getting anxious. Anxiety is a confusion of thoughts in the brain. And when that happens, your body gets confused. What should I do? I don't know what to do. I'm all confused. I don't know what to do. This is a weird moment. Go. Keep breathing. Keep exercising. Keep moving. Get your body moving. And that's the actual, I'm obviously doing it like I'm preaching here, but that's what I have to do. I don't know about you, but that's what I have to do. So this gentleman, I am so not moving at all. This gentleman, and this is another good one, is very cold. Is extremely cold. I'm talking to the point of insults and like he's literally said, because he owns a company. Apparently he owns a company, about 47 nowadays. He looks 25. This is where you can't argue. Like, he looks good. He's physically attractive. Oh yeah, definitely physically attractive. Although I would rather just beat the living crap out of him. One of those guys. I'd like to beat his and completely. Well, there's some things that I probably shouldn't say on that. It's funny because the things that he says, you would think that you would think that he'd be murdered by now. You'd think that somebody would have built the balls to call him out and actually kill him. Because he's mentioned things like hiring hitmen to murder people, to dissemble people, cut limbs off, and justify it legally, right? Justify it to the point where it's okay to him. It's okay to insult people. It's okay to, this is a 10-pound pipe. This is why this is so hard. Bands would be so much easier right now. I'll do this for you. So, my biggest, my comparison. My comparison would be, it's funny because I just watched part of the documentary on Netflix, maybe Netflix or Prime, about not necessarily schools, but like programs, right? Like detention programs for not young adults, but youth, under 18 youth. Back in the day, this is where rules were not as heavily regulated, and marketing was so crappy and good and crappy, like bad, because you were manipulated, that like these programs were helping your child to the parent. Parents would watch the program, realize that their kid is just messed up and they need to be they need to be disciplined in a little bit of a more aggressive manner rather than school that are just teaching you to, that are just sit down and read a book. Not everybody responds to that. So if you're, stepping out of the lines and you're starting to do drugs and you're, getting into fights and you're doing all these things you probably shouldn't be doing as a kid, your parents could set you into this program that would put you in line, right? It would not, and basically it would be, and the way the Netflix documentary kind of marketed it themselves, even worse than my basic training, right? In basic training, it's very orderly, very disciplined, very rigorous, a lot of rules. The more rules you didn't follow, the harder it got. Wow. And these are for teenagers. So it's funny that stuff did exist back in the day, and it's even funnier and terrible that this gentleman apparently has a program that does quite the same. I can't even tell you if this is true or not, but in order to get employed by him, you have to be registered as a sex offender. You can't. You will not have relationships with a female. And you go through rigorous training, right? It's just difficult. I mean, I don't know. I'm still learning, but I don't know how much time I'll actually put into it. What I'm looking to do is understand what is actually going on out there. Because if this is actually happening, you need to be ready and prepared for what is to come. You cannot hide. You cannot hide from this, folks. This is not, unless you have a bunker, which better be well stocked. And I don't think you do. Because those people have TV shows about them. They're so rare, right? Modern day preppers. These people know or think they know what's coming, and they do so. They think so much that they're building underground this and that, so that they're safe for 5 to 10 years. And that's maybe that'll get you through. That should be well enough. I don't know what you can do against tanks, guns, bombs. They're out there. Good luck defending yourself. Man, this thing is really bent. And I don't suppose, by the way, it is completely metal. So that's enough of that one. 45 minutes in and I'm not even into my new training program, folks. But it's good because it'll transition. If I stop after that, we can just go straight into the gym session. So I'll go to the gym later on, and hopefully, there it is. Hopefully we'll give you guys some training. So, moving on to the training program. I'm glad we're only talking about the light stuff today. Raping, murdering, insult, real light. New training program. I know I may have mentioned it in a video before that I'm technically starting a new training program, but I changed it from what I've been doing for the winter season, and I was originally going to change it to a light transition of maybe a combination of I don't want to say complex strength, but the beginning of complex strength movements. Bodybuilding to me is like a transitional style exercise program. It's not hard for me to do bodybuilding. It can be sore producing in a way, but it's not hard in the gym. It really isn't. It's so easy. It's so much downtime for bodybuilding. That's why I have to superset. I have to do multiple muscle groups like back and chest, shoulders and legs. I'll do my big muscle groups on the same day because just doing chest is nowhere near enough, folks. Nowhere near enough. I can't sit around for that long. I cannot sit in between sets for 45 seconds. You have any idea how much wasted time you have in the gym? And I'm still in the gym for 3 hours. I start with my heavy bag. I'll start with the bar. I did this yesterday. I did the heavy bag movements. Moved on with the bar. Not this bar, but a 20-pound shorter, like curling bar. But same concept, shoulder mobility. Then I did kettlebells so I could bring in my legs a little bit. And then after that, it was just straight up. Oh, then I did hangs. But from there, it was a combination of, that's just a warm-up. So kettlebell, bar, and heavy bag are just warming up the body, just getting the whole body mobile, stable, and loose, right? And then from there, I kind of superset a number of exercises. So my hangs, which would be forearms and back, more or less. But then I would do the, forgive me because my names on this are completely wrong. If you guys want the name, actually, because I do support and will endlessly talk about the new training program by, Lee Wayland. Lee Wayland, W-E-I Land. Lee Wayland, I believe is the name, at Pacific Rim Athletes. So there's your real, there's your actual program name. Pacific Rim Athletes, Lee Wayland. So to generalize the training principle, the training program, and by the names you quite possibly know, a combination of calisthenics, Olympics, and not Olympic weightlifting, but Olympic movements. So your rings, your planche, right, where you are push-up positions like this. If I were horizontal, and then feet elevated off the ground. Obviously, bar hanging, right? Any sort of bar swinging. Obviously, this will translate into rock climbing for me. And then for legs, it's a lot of twisting, twirling, acrobats, right? Kind of like a, who's acrobatics? Gosh, dang it. I'm so sorry. Juji, Mr. Mufu. So a lot of, like parkour, right? Like pretty soon I want to be parkour, rock climbing, and body weight training. I want my core so intensely powerful. And it's hilarious that people in the gym think that I have a pretty well-rounded, structured body, in a way like a strong core. This program puts me to shame. So I want to run through like a couple of exercises, but I think I'll just wait until we get to the gym. So be prepared. We're going to go into it. If you want to check it out yourself, Lee Wayland, Pacific Rim Athletes, a lot of body weight, mostly body weight. But yeah, a lot of hanging, flips and twists, just a lot of the Olympic style movement. And I'm already realizing, like different ways of training more or less my chest. Like I've trying to been focused on my chest and or back / forearms. I've been heavily into the arm wrestling for some odd reason. I just, Devin Larratt, man, has had me on for a while. I love his character. I love his energy, and I can't get away from the videos. So I'm just heavy into this movement. And it's obviously not just forearms if you know anything about arm wrestling. So I am getting a whatever this movement pattern is. Apparently they don't necessarily need their feet in order to, like let's say plant yourself on the ground. A lot of arm wrestlers just have this upper body movement. They don't need to plant their foot and twist with their entire body, almost like a fighter would gain force from pushing off of his rear foot, so to speak. But whatever this movement is, where it's just the upper body, I am fixated on it, and I'm loving it because I haven't had. I can still feel my elbow tendonitis, right? I can still feel like the tennis elbow, whatever it is. Not that it's guaranteed that I haven't been diagnosed at all. I never get diagnosed. I don't see a doctor. I'm just trying to go off of the common terms here. But my problem is here, right? So the inner here, and then I will go all the way to the back tricep, outer head, bottom by the elbow, right? So funny bones right here, elbows here. My problem is right in between the two. Obviously, that's the opposing of the inside forearm. I feel the pain, but it's so much less. It is so much less than what it used to be carrying kayaks. Obviously, because I'm constantly doing this movement pattern, and obviously when I'm carrying kayaks, it's all here, right? So it's completely opposite from my day job, at least during the summer, and it's definitely helping fix, hopefully rehab the problems, the pain. I'm gonna go into the training later on at the gym. I'm gonna get to actually training here, get my warm up in. My legs are probably I don't want to say my weakest, but my most hated right now. I'm pretty sure I don't want to say I figured it out, but I'm reminded that during the winter when I do my night job salting the sidewalks, I never use a salt spreader. Like that's comical to me when I see somebody use a salt spreader. I have a bucket, 5-gallon bucket. It takes 1 50-pound bag of salt, and because I decided not to switch sides over the years, I've been doing it for maybe 7, 8 years now. And because I just never got the other side down, so I'm a left side holder of the bucket. So I'll hold the bucket right on my hip, which means I will elevate my scapula, and I'll even kind of tuck it into my hip right here, right? It'll just rest right about there. What that does is it tenses up my left lumbar region, and from there I'll just flick with my right. I'll just flick the salt on the sidewalk with my right. But what that's done over the years is that I'm realizing is, wow, the tightness. Wow. Just, I mean, it's like, I know there's people out there that have way more pain than I do. I don't know how people can go through life with such ailments. Like when people say they've had like 5, 6, 7, 8 surgeries plus, right? I don't know how you're able to go to the gym. I have no idea, right? I've never had a major surgery. I've never had a major surgery. I am in fear of that sort of stuff. I don't know how to recover from it. I don't know if I'd be disciplined mentally to actually want to recover from stuff like that. I have a difficult time with what I have, right? And it's not, I know it's not the worst. It can't be the worst, right? If it was worse, I wouldn't be walking, right? But there is absolutely, and I can tell you what the numbers are because of my one-arm snatch. I've been one-arm snatching for the past few months now. And it's awesome. I hit my goal of a 100-pound snatch, but I only hit it with my left arm. Now I'm doing I can't say that I'm doing a cross. So once I got to higher numbers, I had to switch from a staggered, right? So a staggered position with my legs where they are actually staggered, and crossing, right? So if I use my left arm, if I use my left hand, my right foot would be forward at a lighter weight, right? And then I would snatch one arm. As I went higher in numbers, I kind of had to do a frontal plane, right? So both feet on the same position, frontal plane, squat position, in order to do the snatch. And right now, my left-handed snatch. Now, I know this might not make sense to everybody because I just said my hip pain is on my left side. Where's my book? Damn it. Where is my book? Damn it. Anatomy trains, right? It's not about side, right? Your body is not just left or right, up or down, front or back. Those are just the planes of motion. What you also have are patterns of movements, and that involves the muscles from here to there, right? Your patterns of movements aren't just bilingual or single. You're not just working out. This is why I don't work out one muscle group at a time. I think that's absolutely just the worst idea, right? This is where bodybuilding just does not make sense to me. I don't care how you look. I don't care how I look. You look big. I don't want to say you look great, but it looks aesthetically pleasing because you look big and you're using the biggest muscles to show off what you have. But there's no carryover. There's no carryover in the bodybuilding world because you're only moving one muscle group at a time. If you have to throw a rock, a big rock, if you've got to actually throw a cinder block, if you've got to play a sport with your buddies, even if it's just like Turkey Bowl, right? Thanksgiving Turkey Bowl, you're not going to be moving the way you do in the gym. And that's just naive to me. That's just poor gym. That's poor exercise training. That's just, if your training doesn't carry over into the real world, why are you doing it, right? And if you're doing it for aesthetics, if you're doing it just to look good, kind of says a lot about your character, right? Surface level, very, very superficial, very maniacal, right? You only care about what you look like. How much does God care about what you look like? Right, exactly. You don't have that body in heaven. Now, that's one thing to say, like, okay, well, you're also working out your body too. To perform better in life, right? So now I can take my performance from the gym and then actually go out and make the world a better place via performance. Whether it be helping someone with their groceries by bringing in all the groceries at once, because I do farmer carry, right? Poor example. I know that's not very much weight. But it's carryover. So I did my snatch with my left hand. And my left-handed snatch is at 100. And I finally got it. My right hand, I can't even shoulder the 100. I can't even bring it to my shoulder because when I pull it, I'm using my left lumbar. My right hand pull it's not like I'm separate from this. Not like you're separate from this. But when you pull with your right, you're actually using your left lumbar. Can you believe that? Insane complexities of the human body. So read a book or something. I would suggest Thomas Meyer's Anatomy Trains. It's very in-depth. Too in-depth for me. I need the pictures at times, most of the time. But it still works. It's still very accurate. I don't see why it's not in the anatomy, or not the anatomy, but the sports and exercise program. I have no idea. But yeah, like the books that I remember reading in college for sports and exercise programs was a joke. Just a joke. Like reps and sets don't really mean much. I'll do the same exercises you'll see later on. I'll do the same exercises in my program, in my exercise program, but it's not like I'm doing 50 push-ups to do my chest exercise, right? I'll be doing range of motions, right? So you'll see me I'll do the planche, or I'll do the dead hang. It's for shoulder mobility and stability and range of motion now, rather than doing just reps to get blood flow going. We're gonna stop it there since we're at an hour. We'll see you in a video later on. Plus I gotta take a pee. Thank you very much for following along. Hopefully this wasn't too much. I may actually just post this one and then make a training program, because who's gonna watch an hour? So anyway, yeah, follow me in the next video. Catch you guys later. Live expressively. Peace.